This man was 6 foot 9 inches tall, 300 pounds, a man so talented even Kobe Bryant said Rico was one of the few players who could match him on the court. But on October 10th, 2014, Rico Harris is driving alone through the most remote stretch of highway in Northern California. And when they find his SUV 3 days later, it's abandoned in an isolation mountain parking lot. The engine is dead, the battery is drained, Rico is gone, and what investigators discover next will make them question whether a 300-pound man can simply vanish into thin air. Welcome to Mystery Files, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say it, happy Friday the 13th. Today I got a great story for you, so without any further ado, as of now it's time to slip into a mind that's not our own, so let's go. Okay, first let's rewind. It's 1995, and Temple City High School just outside of Los Angeles. Rico Harris towers over everybody at 6 foot 9. But it's not just his size. He moves with this fluid type of grace. His basketball IQ is off the charts. He even plays a game against Kobe Bryant and wins. And by his senior year, Rico is averaging 23 points and 15 rebounds per game. UCLA offers him a full scholarship ride. And his mother, Margaret Fernandez, works double shifts as a caregiver just to make ends meet. But watching her oldest son just dominate on the court, she now dares to dream. This is Rico's ticket out, his chance at the NBA, a whole new life. But there's something brewing beneath the surface that will absolutely destroy everything. For one, everything starts to fall apart in college. Rico actually chose Arizona State, another place where he got a full ride offered to him. But being away from his support system proved disastrous. And then, in March 1996, the bottom drops out, when Rico and his two teammates are arrested after two women claim that the players forced them into sexual acts. But the charges are eventually dropped when investigators find inconsistencies in the stories, but as you could imagine, at that age and at that time, the damage is done. So Rico transfers to Los Angeles City College in 1997, and he leads the team to their first state championship. And for a moment, it seems like Rico might actually just salvage his career. But then the pattern continues. More transfers and more struggles. By the year 2000, Rico gets one last shot. The Harlem Globetrotters, who his dad was also a part of. But then, just 1 month in, Rico is brutally assaulted at a nightclub, and the head injuries are so severe that he can never play again. Imagine your dream just being taken from you in one night, because that is what just happened. And at 23, Rico Harris's athletic career is totally over, and that's when his mother starts losing him for the first time. And from 2000 to 2007, Rico spirals sadly into addiction. Alcohol, pills, and Margaret, just watches helplessly as her 6 foot 9 son becomes a ghost of himself. And in that time, Rico sadly racks up more than a dozen arrests. He overdoses and nearly dies. But underneath it all, he was still just a boy who loved basketball more than anything. Margaret later admits, the Rico I knew was already missing long before he disappeared. But in 2007, something miraculous kind of happened. Rico got clean, and he stayed clean for 7 whole years. He gets a job working security. And in 2012, he meets a woman named Jennifer Song. And for the first time in years, both Rico and his mother dare to grasp onto hope again. So by 2014, Rico and Jennifer have been together now for 2 years. He's been sober for 7 years, in the longest stretch of his adult life. And in October of 2014, Rico decides to move to Seattle permanently. But first, he wants to visit his mother one last time. So, on October 9th, Rico drives 1,100 miles from Seattle down to Los Angeles. And that night, Margaret, she's so happy to have her son there, so she cooks Rico his favorite meal. And she says, "I'm really proud of you, mijo." And Rico just hugs her tight and says, "I'm gonna make it this time, Mom. I'm gonna make it." And sadly, That's the last conversation that they ever had. Okay, now the part of the story you've been waiting for. And if you don't mind and you love stories like this, please make sure to hit that like button. But okay, it's October 10th, 2014, 1 in the morning. Rico hugs his mother goodbye and climbs back into his Nissan Maxima. Margaret just, watches from the doorway, waving as her son's taillights disappear. And then at 8 a.m. in the morning, he stops for gas and loading, and security cameras even capture him refueling. He looks tired, but other than that, normal. Then at 10:45 a.m., Rico calls Jennifer and leaves a voicemail. His voice, though, sounds different. It sounds strained, and it says, "Hey babe, I love you. I'm going up into the mountains to rest. I haven't slept in like 36 hours. And then his phone goes dead just a half hour after that at 11:15 a.m. And by October 14th, Jennifer is now frantic, having no idea what to do, so she calls Margaret. And Margaret's blood literally runs cold the moment that she hears Jennifer's voice. And it was that afternoon that they filed a missing persons report. And within hours, they got a call that would shatter both of their worlds. A Yolo County Sheriff's deputy notices a black Nissan Maxima parked in Cache Creek Regional Park. It's this, isolated area 60 miles north of Sacramento. And when the car is still there on October 14th, he runs the plates. And it says that the car belongs to Rico Harris, who was reported missing that same day, but who should also be 450 miles away in Seattle. And when investigators arrive, what they found would haunt them for years. Because you see, Rico's car sits in this remote parking lot like he just, stepped away. But everything is wrong. The car is out of gas. The battery is dead. The interior even kind of looks ransacked, paper scattered about, CDs thrown around. But there's no sign of a struggle, and there's no blood. Rico's wallet is on the seat. His credit cards are still inside. So if it was a robbery or anything like that, well, they didn't do a good job. So that just doesn't make sense. Most puzzling was Rico was nowhere near where he should have been. I mean, to get from LA to Seattle, you take Interstate 5, a straight shot north. But Rico's car is on Route 16, a winding mountain road 40 miles off course. Why would Rico take this detour through nowhere? So at this point, investigators, they call up and contact Rico's cell phone provider. And what they learn will turn this missing person case into something far more sinister. Rico's phone last pinged at 11:15 a.m. on October 10th, but not anywhere near his car. The signal came from Redwood Valley, 70 miles away. How could Rico's phone be 70 miles away from his own car? And on October 15th, a local man calls police. He found a backpack on the roadside near Redwood Valley, and inside was Rico's cell phone. And when investigators, examined the phone, they discovered something that truly made their blood run cold. Rico's phone contained photos and videos from the day that he disappeared. Selfies at the rest stop, scenic shots at the Cache Creek. But it's the videos that disturb investigators. The footage shows Rico in his car, unaware, and he's recording. He's singing, but also ripping and throwing CDs around, explaining, the ransacked interior. Rico's behavior is erratic, manic even. He tears apart, paperwork and flings pieces around like confetti. And then in another clip, he's laughing hysterically while destroying something off camera. The timestamps confirm recorded the night of October 10th. So Rico was alive after his final phone call. But what happened between these videos and abandoning the car, and how did his phone end up 70 miles away? Well, Yolo County launches a massive operation. Helicopters with thermal imaging, just sweep the terrain. Search teams on ATVs comb 27 miles of canyon roads. Bloodhounds track Rico's scent to the creek bed. And then they find size 18 footprints leading toward the water. But then the trail goes cold. And then after 3 days, sadly, they find nothing else. No trace of a 6'9", 300-pound man. Detective Dean Nyland is baffled and says, how does this guy not pop up somewhere? Big guy that, has to eat 3-4 times a day. I can see how people who don't stand out can disappear, but this guy, he stands out. But then the tips start coming in, and what witnesses report will make investigators now question everything. Multiple witnesses claim to have seen a tall man in that area on October 11th, the day after Rico's final call, and a motorist sees someone matching his description sitting on a guardrail near Cache Creek. And another witness sees a large man walking on Highway 16. A couple even reports somebody fitting Rico's, description walking around a black car, appearing confused. And all of these sightings occur near where Rico's car was found. But here's what makes investigators' blood run cold. These happen on October 11th, the same day Rico's backpack was found 70 miles away. So how could Rico be in two places at the same time? But 9 days later, something happens that will terrify even seasoned investigators. October 19th, like I said, 9 days after Rico's disappearance, a ranch worker calls police. He saw a large individual in light-colored pants near where Rico's car was found. So investigators rush to the area, and what they find stops them cold. Fresh footprints, size 18, leading from the road towards the bushes. The prints appear only hours old. Rico, or someone wearing his shoes, has returned. But why? And where has he been now for over a week? More disturbing, if Rico is alive, why hasn't he contacted his family? So while, the investigators puzzle over the evidence, Margaret lives every parent's worst nightmare. Every night she falls asleep clutching the last shirt that Rico wore. And she still calls his phone, knowing that it will not ring. She said, I keep thinking he's just going to walk through that door. I keep his favorite food in the refrigerator just in case. So at this point, Jennifer drives from Seattle to the search party, and standing where Rico's car was found, she just absolutely breaks down. And she says, this doesn't make any sense. Rico was excited about our future. He wouldn't just disappear. But investigators are now running out of theories, and the evidence they have doesn't point to any of them. A full 10 years later, and Rico Harris remains missing. How does a 6'9", 300-pound man completely vanish? Why was his phone 70 miles away from his car and potentially himself? What caused his erratic behavior? Who was seen near his car 9 days later? The Cache Creek area has been searched dozens of times, and still nothing. It's as if Rico Harris simply just ceased to exist. His mother, Margaret, drives out to that spot every October 10th. And she sits in the empty parking lot for hours, hoping that her son might come out of that brush and reappear. I'm not giving up, she says. He's the glue that held our family together. So on October 10th, 2014, Rico Harris was driving towards a new life. His mother had just cooked his favorite meal. His job interview was the next day. Everything was finally falling into place. But by October 14th, he was gone. And despite 10 years of searching, he's never been found. Rico Harris became a ghost on a mountain highway, a 300-pound man that vanished into thin air. A basketball star whose final game was played against forces that none of us understand. The mountains keep their secrets. And sadly, Rico Harris is one of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, I'm going to be uploading every week, and from now on, I will be notifying all of you. I just figured it's the right thing to do. But please hit that like button if you want to keep, the thrilling nature of these stories going. Click on one of these right here. This one, either one. It doesn't matter. It would really help, and it means a lot. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.